Hey there everyone, Round the Wheel here, and now for something completely different. That is to say, my final thoughts and experiences on playing DoveLems. This is not something that I normally do. I am not very I'm not a very reflective person when it comes to my body of YouTube work. I tend to just kind of set them up and knock them down as quickly as I can with what little spare time I have. And I don't have the memory for things I've done in the past that some people do. Some people can just dredge up classic moments that they remember and just be like, "Oh, remember when you did that?" And I'm like, "No." but but yeah, it's not something that I normally do. But DoveLems was something different, and DoveLems was something special, and it really kind of inspired me to take stock of what's going on with my channel and the kind of direction I should be moving in. But before I talk about any of that, I want to genuinely and sincerely thank everybody who watched this series, which has probably been the most popular and glowingly received thing I've ever done to date. I was really, usually with a series, with any Let's Play, you'll see a big turnout at the beginning of the series, and then you'll see a steady drop off as you get deeper into the game, and maybe you don't want to stick around for a whole game, and that's cool if that's your want, if that's your desire. That's, I can't make you watch anything, but really I'm pretty amazingly impressed. Viewer turner viewer view, Viewership turnout kind of stayed steady throughout the whole thing, and I could kind of count on 200 to 300 views a day, which was really mind blowing to me. People really stuck around for this thing, and it really impressed me and meant a lot to me. And I also went out of my way to kind of promote this series in other places because I really felt like finally I had something special for once. Most of my YouTube output is just games that are scattered across my childhood, things that were important to me as a child or that had some significance when I was growing up. Those are the games I tend to gravitate toward the most. I'm not much for it sounds weird to say, but I'm not much for new experiences in gaming. I tend to be stuck in one era, and my taste is very idiosyncratic to the things that I happen to experience, and those things mean a lot to me. But this was finally something, I've always loved Lemmings. Lemmings is my favorite game of all time, and this seemed like a great way to branch out from that. And once I started doing it, I realized I finally had something special, something that finally, like, in the cosmic scheme, really, like, not the grand cosmic scheme, but like the overall kind of in the overall kind of let's play schema. I finally felt like I had a unique piece that could fit into that, something that nobody's done before, something I could offer that nobody else is really capable of offering in the way that I was. And it struck a chord with me in that way. Once I started doing it, I realized I had a special thing. And so I kind of went out of my way to promote it in other places and try to get other people in on this thing that I was doing. And I want to thank all the people that did get in on that kind of saw what I was bringing out there and decided, hey, this is something pretty cool, and that watched it and encouraged me to keep going on it. I'm just blown away by the response to this series, how it kept a steady head of steam going, and how everyone is telling me that they're so sad to see it go. Sad in a way that nobody has ever really been sad to see my other series go. And I just want to thank everybody who watched it and enjoyed it, who gave their input, even the people who criticized the moves I made. I'm not always the smartest puzzle game player, but speaking of puzzle games, though, this game has really inspired me to take a tack with my channel, like a new focus. And from this point forward, I have to say, there will probably not be any point when we are not playing some kind of puzzle platformer or action puzzle type game, because I think I've really found a niche that I'm comfortable at, that I gel with in terms of the way I react to it on camera. And there's something that puzzle platformers can do that kind of brings out the best of me, I think. So we're going to be playing a lot more games like that in the future because I think I respond well to them, and I think that people respond well to my responses to them. And so I'm really excited to be doing that. There's a lot of games I have in mind. People have asked me, "Are you going to play more Lemmings packs?" Yes, definitely. Dodo Chicalo has another pack called Franlims, which is I think it's 40 levels, and it's levels with French titles. A guy and just 40 more levels of Dodo Chicalo. These 125 levels have just been like mind blowing. Opened my mind up to Lemmings possibilities that I never even conceived of. So yes, somebody asked me if I was going to be playing Fran Limbs. Yes, I'm going to be looking into a pack by somebody called Namita called Lemmings DOS Plus. So we'll be returning to the DOS Lemmings. I'm going to be playing the Genesis Lemmings at some point in the future because it's almost an entirely different game in terms of the levels that are in it and stuff. And I'm gonna be doing a guy in the commons named Payu. He is almost finished with a Lim mini pack, I believe, with 100 plus levels. I'm going to be playing that at some point in the future. You don't have to worry about the Lemmings future. There's going to be tons of Lemmings, but there are also going to be other puzzle platformers. Things that try to do something different or games that fit into that particular mold. Platform games with a kind of puzzle bent to them. To give like a sort of mainstream example, like the Game Boy version of Donkey Kong, games like that. Just some other examples off the top of my head, like Toki Tori, um, and also Lost Vikings, uh, and games that try to. I'm also going to be looking, I think, at some games that try to capitalize on the success of Lemmings, but didn't quite make it for whatever reason. Didn't quite capture that lightning in a bottle like Lemmings did, and we'll look at maybe why they failed to do that. Games like Troddlers for the Super Nintendo, the Humans for the Genesis. Games like that, and then there's a Lemmings clone called Licks. I basically sat down one day after I decided this was a direction I want to take. I sat down and I made a master list of games that I want to do, and it is locked up in a password on my phone. And I sat down and I came up with a lot of games that I want to play for the future, both in this vein and just otherwise. And so I don't know. I felt like I was kind of worrying about what was going to come next, and now that worry is not there because I feel like I have something really going here. So thanks to everybody who watched this series and kind of inspired me to take stock of things and figure out what I could do from here. And so, also thank you to the people at lemmingsforums.info. They were some of the people that I took this idea to, like, hey, I think DoveLems is pretty cool looking. I want to do a Let's Play of it. Can you guys help me get this set up? And you better believe it, they helped me get it set up. It was just an amazing outpouring of kindness and generosity. Uh, Guys like Axeli, Payu, Gronkling. I think Insane Steve has been watching. I don't know. Some of you have different names on YouTube, I think, than on the Lemmings forums. So if I'm kind of mentioning people twice, but people who really got involved in this whole, who really started coming out of the woodwork once I got into this whole Lemmings thing, or not really came out of the woodwork, but really just got involved and was really amazed to see how I progressed through the game and kind of like guided me through it, like, oh, you're gonna love this part and stuff like that. Guys like as I said, Axeli, Payu, Gronkling, Insane Steve, Clam Spammer, Sentinel Proxima, other people who were just really just on top of the input. I don't know how much Dodo Chicalo watched, but definitely thank you to Dodo Chicalo also. People mentioned a lot how there was occasional mention of how I was pretty good at DoveLems, pretty good about solving things, despite the fact that my only experience with the series was the original vanilla Lemmings and Oh No More Lemmings, to which I would say I've also played Lemmings Revolution, but that's kind of beside the point because that's a different beast entirely. But people kind of noted how good I was at DoveLems, and I have to say a lot of that is because of Dodo Chicalo's uh, mastery in creating this game. He created something with a real sense of balance, like an actual game. It didn't feel, so many. You can't really call DoveLems a ROM hack, but so many ROM hacks kind of have their own thing going on, where they've got this whole gimmick or whatever. They're kind of how do I say this? It's like they're kind of interested in their own gimmickiness or something. They're kind of invested in their own hackness. I don't I can't really get this across very well. I'm not articulating it very well. But DoveLems felt like it was actually trying to be an actual, if like, not just a spiritual successor. DoveLems could fit in right comfortably with the Lemmings games. I've often said that you have Lemmings, which is Lemmings 1, and then Lemmings 2, and then between that you have Oh No More Lemmings, which is Lemmings 1.5. I would call DoveLems, and indeed probably the entire custom Lemmings scene, I would call it Lemmings 1.75. It's just, it fits so comfortably into that chronology. It feels like an actual game. The balance the balance of the difficulty was just amazing. It kind of seemed in the early going like there was a little bit of there might have been some plane levels that might have been too hard, and there might have been some coward levels that were too easy. But once you really got into like the devilish and the Mazo levels, they were perfectly balanced, and it's a testament to how great the game is that it felt like an actual game. It felt like the logical extension of Oh No More Lemmings. Like, Oh No More Lemmings was a huge step from Lemmings in terms of precision and difficulty, and DoveLems felt like even the next logical step from that. It felt like if you were going to call Oh No More Lemmings Lemmings 2, then DoveLems would have been Lemmings 3. It would have just been, it's just, I would not even hesitate to say that it's better than those games. It takes what Lemmings and Oh No More Lemmings started and brings it to its logical conclusion. And so it was really easy to get in the mode that way. It didn't feel, that's why it was so easy for me. It didn't feel ROM hacky. It felt like a natural game. It felt like a commercially released product. Like somebody was like, "Okay, what is the next generation of Lemmings? Where is the next step to go from here?" And that is the exact direction that Dodo Chikalo took it, and that's why I had not an easy time with the game. Many levels took hours upon hours to solve. There was a lot of raw footage that you just didn't see because I threw it out, or otherwise episodes would have been 2 hours long for one level. There's a lot of editing involved, but it was still a balanced game with reasonable difficulty, and Dodo Chikalo deserves major props for that. And and that's pretty much all I have to say, I think. I don't want to ramble on for too much longer. If you've listened for this long, congratulations to you. This is kind of just a self-indulgent capper to the series where I just talk about it, and also kind of a little, one last hurrah because people didn't really want to see this series go. It was while it was going on probably the best thing I've ever done on YouTube, without a doubt. So I don't want to spend too much more time carrying on, but I just want to say that I am very humbled by all the help that the Lemmings forums guys gave me, and I am very grateful and appreciative. And they are a very kind community. It is a very very inviting scene. I feel like I feel like anytime I wanted, if they were having some kind of level jam, I could just drop in and design a level, and everybody would be like, "Yeah!" And there wouldn't be a feeling of outsiderness. They're just a very inviting crew, and probably one of the coolest custom scenes I've ever seen on the internet. Just full of people who know their game and love it, and it's just incredible. So thanks to them. Thanks to everybody for watching. Next time we will be moving on to Chips Challenge, which I understand has a custom scene of its own, but we're just going to be playing vanilla Chips Challenge. Not to say that I'm going to be any good at it. I did mention that I had played it in my childhood, I believe, but that doesn't mean I'm any good at it. I think my memory is good for about probably 25 to 30 levels, and then after that, so, and it was a game that stymied me a lot in my childhood. So, it is the kind of game, it has a feature where if you fail too many times at a level, it will let you skip to the next one. And that was a welcome respite in my childhood. But nowadays, I think I'm ready. It seems like one of those projects where I played it and I didn't really understand it at the time, but now as an adult, I'm really ready to get into the nitty gritty of it. And I think we're going to have fun with that. I think we're going to have tons of fun with the puzzle games we're going to be playing in the future. And I am really looking forward to just showing off all manner of stuff and experiencing all manner of stuff, especially blind. That was another thing I did with this series that I don't always do, is that I did this as a blind run, and that seems to have been beneficial. That seems to have been a huge part also of what made it so great. So I think there's going to be a lot more blind stuff from me in the future, because it's just it kind of, when you play a game blind, it's when you play a game and you have everything, you already know everything about it. It's easier to talk about things and to be informative, and also to insert jokes here and there. But when you do a game blind, that kind of opens it up to a sense of wonder that you can't really get. So I'm starting to see the advantage of blind play, and I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm really getting a feel for it. So there's going to be a lot more of that too. Besides just puzzle platforming, there's going to be a lot more blind play in the future. So lots more lemmings, lots more puzzle stuff, lots more blind. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting what I do. It is my favorite hobby. It is the best time that I generally have anywhere ever. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys around.